Parent-teacher meetings. They can be a nightmare for many teachers and probably some parents too, to be honest. But in this video, I want to tell you how to never have a bad parent meeting again if you're teaching in a school or an academy. Let's go. Hey there, English teachers. Jesse here from Sweet Academy, and I want to help you in the classroom. And part of that is parent meetings. Parent meetings. Parent meetings, to be honest, let's be honest. They are usually a nightmare for teachers, especially young, inexperienced teachers. And that's who I'm talking to now. Are the young, inexperienced teachers that maybe haven't had a parent-teacher meeting, or you've had a few, or you've had some and they haven't gone well, they've been a disaster. I want to help you get through your next parent-teacher meeting because, to be honest, they can be helpful and they can bring a stronger connection between you and the parents, and, as I'll tell you, between you and a student, even your most nightmarish student in the class. And I'll tell you a story about that later on. But I titled this video, How to Never Have a Bad Parent Meeting Again. It may have been a little clickbaity, but I really do think that the tips that I'm going to give you in this video will help you almost never have a bad parent meeting again. Obviously, people are people. We have bad days, so some things will happen. But ultimately, if you take into consideration the things I'm going to share, then it will help you in your next parent meeting. So let me tell you a story first about my first parent meeting. Well, we had a meeting with the teachers preparing for the first parent meeting in my academy here in Spain. And when I left the meeting, to be honest, I felt like I was ready to go into battle, right? Because the whole meeting seemed to be prepare yourself to be attacked. Prepare yourself because the parents are going to come in and they're going to be on fire. They're going to blame you because their child hasn't learned English or because they failed an exam, or the parents are going to demand answers. And it came to the parent meeting, nothing could be further from the truth. There were some parents that were disappointed about their children's progress. I understood that. There were some parents that asked me questions about things that we do in class. I answered them. I understood why they wanted to know these things. Basically, it was just a conversation, right? There was no attacking. Why? Because I didn't approach it like that. They came in. Once you get one-on-one with a parent, they kind of become human. And that's it. That's part number one. Realize that they're human, right? Look them in the face. Look them in the eye. And you'll see that they're kind of, especially if it's a bad kid for you or a troubled kid for you, that's how they feel all the time. That's what they have to deal with all the time. And that's actually tip number 2 is, however your students are in the class, if they're troublesome for you, if they're hard to handle for you, they're even worse at home, right? And I've learned this from being a father because I'm sharing this with you as a father and as a teacher. So, and let me tell you, based on my own children, based on my sister's children, based on friends' children who play together, the story is always the same. The child is golden. They're good at friends' houses. They're good when they're with me. I'm talking about other children. My children are good and perfect when they're with other parents, but then they come home and they change. And they're a little terror, and they're a little monster. And that's what happens, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But I think, and I've heard from many teachers that they suspect that The child is a little angel and the mother's just trying to protect their little angel, and that's not it. Most of the time, the mother is up to here and desperate, trying to figure out a solution for their child, right? However they are in the classroom for you, they're worse at home. Trust me, that's the way it is. That will help. And number three, realize, as I said in the opening, you're not preparing for battle. It's not us versus them, like the parents versus the teachers, and we're on two different sides, and we're preparing for a crash collision course. No, here's what it is. Here's the truth, and this will help you get through your parent meeting. And before the meeting, just keep this in mind. We're on the same team. We are on the same team. You're on the same team as the parents, and they're on the same team as you, even if they may not realize it, even if you may not realize it before. We're on the same team, and we want the same goal ultimately, and that's that the child does well, that the child learns, that the child does well and they succeed, if that's what you want. If it's not what you want, then maybe you should think about going into something else. And I'm serious about that. Maybe if that's not what you want, maybe teaching isn't for you. But if that is what you want, then that's what the parents want too. I guarantee it. And the question comes then is, how do we find that goal? How do we find the route, the road, the path to that goal? I have a story about a parent meeting, a mother of one of the craziest girls. She was maybe 12 years old, and she could not study well. She completely ignored the teacher, which was me. And I know she did it to all her teachers. She stood up in class. She started dancing. She would talk to whoever was next to her. She was just talkative and chatty and disruptive, but she was also fun. Let's be honest. They're fun, right? But her mother came in and for an appointment, and she came in and sat down and we started talking, and she asked what she can do. And I was just honest with her. I told her, listen, first of all, I like Maria. I like her. She's fun. She's a little wild in class, and she's a little crazy, and she talks too much. She loves talking. But I'll tell you what, she has all of the tools to learn English. She is talkative, which is great because we do a lot of speaking activities. She's personable. She makes friends with anyone because she'll talk to anyone I put her next to, and she'll talk to anybody. And she really uplifts the spirits in the class. And these are all great, and she's outgoing. And these are all great tools, great starting blocks for learning a language. What she's missing is the key element. And what she's missing is believing in herself right here. You can't see because of the microphone. But what she's missing is believing in herself right here. And that's what you and I both need to find. And if you have any ideas based on, what you see at home, then please tell me. If I see any ideas in class, then I will tell you. But she just needs to believe in herself that she can do it. And the mother left this meeting kind of happy, for lack of a better word. She felt satisfied because it wasn't me running down her daughter. I wasn't running down her daughter. I wasn't saying that Maria has to sit down and Maria has to stop talking so much and she always disruptive. That doesn't help anything. But she left the meeting happy and satisfied. And you know how I know that she left happy and satisfied? Because I found out months later when I taught a different class with Maria's friend that Maria loved me. And I told her, no, I think you're talking about a different Maria. She hated me because she always caused so much trouble in my classes. And I was always telling her to be quiet. But she said no. She said, no, Maria adores you. And I thought back, I was like, what? Why? And it went back to this meeting because I told her mother the good things about her, that she has the potential, and she just needs to believe in herself. And most of the time, for your troubled students, that's what it is. So ultimately, to wrap it up in a bow, there are two things to remember. One, we're on the same team. We want the same thing. You and the parents, they want the same thing as you. And if nothing else, write this on your hand, write it on a paper where you're going to see it in your parent meeting. The two things to be in the parent meeting that will take down anybody's guard: be honest and be helpful. If you're those two things, you won't have a bad parent meeting, because if you're trying to be helpful, the parents will see you're trying to be helpful, and they will be helpful in return. Unless you get the extra crazy one. But that's my suggestion. Those are my suggestions for having good parent meetings. You let me know of any stories, any good stories or bad stories, and maybe we can work through it together and figure out a plan of how to talk to your parents. If you're interested, maybe we can have a Google Hangout session one time, or like a live stream or a live chat, and a workshop where we can kind of share ideas together. You let me know in the comments below. Other than that, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell if you found this content helpful, even a little bit. And that way you will continue to get stories and lesson ideas every week. Keep teaching and keep learning. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.